St. Augustine said, men go out to marvel at the stars, they go to the mountains, they do all these things, but they walk past themselves without even looking. And it's, if you're going out there and you're constantly searching the new, but you're not questioning why you're doing it, or what is it, what's it for, what's the purpose, then the motivation could be misguided. So that's something I constantly have to keep in check. Like, why am I going to this gallery? Is it because it's sort of like mimetic and it feels like, oh, Clark's going to a gallery? Or is it kind of, I actually feel like going? And I think the motivation question there is really important.
Well, wait, say that quote again.
I think wait, which one? Me impersonating myself or Saint Augustine?
I think Saint Augustine. They're going walking past yourself.
Saint Augustine. I think Saint Augustine said, "Men go abroad." I know the first line is "Men go abroad to like wonder at the mountains," and then there's something about looking at the stars, but they go by themselves without even looking.
So we lack kind of the self-reflection as we're trying to pursue things.
I think that's what he's trying to say. Well, how it appears to me is that we do all these things, but we're never conscious of why we do them, or who the I am who's doing it, and questioning and stopping and pausing. Why am I? I'll give you an example. It's one of my favorite analogies. It's a story from Brazil, right? And there's this. You may have heard it. Pause me if you have. There's a American venture capitalist guy who's on holiday on a beach in Brazil, and there's a fisherman there. He sees him coming back at about 1 p.m. and he's got quite a few fish, but it's 1 p.m. So the venture capitalist says, "How long does it take you to catch that many fish?" The Brazilian fisherman says, "Just a short while." And he says, "So what do you do with the rest of your day?" He says, "Well, I go back, I have a nap, I have dinner with my wife, I play football with my kids, then I have a beer with my friends." And he said, "Look, I'm a venture capitalist. I've got an MBA. I can help you catch even more fish." The guy's like, "Well, I'm not sure I want to do that. I catch enough fish to feed my family." So venture capitalist says, no, listen to me. You're going to fish for longer. You're going to catch more fish. You're going to sell the surplus. You're going to buy another boat. With that boat, you're going to catch even more fish. Then you're going to get a processing plant. Then you're going to start packaging your own fish and selling it. And the fisherman's like, "And then what?" And then the venture capitalist guy says, "Well, then you can move to Sao Paulo, become CEO of your own company, floated on the stock exchange. You'll be a millionaire." He says, "And then what?" He says, "Oh, and then you can retire to a village by the beach, have dinner with your wife, play football with your kids, and have beers with your mates." And the fisherman says, "Well, isn't that what I do now?" So it's just the ability to appreciate that sometimes, working out why you do things, knowing why you do them. Is this the path that you're meant to be on? Does this align with me? Is this actually what I want? Because I can see a bit of myself and everyone's self in that venture capitalist being like, "You've got to do this, then that, then this, then that." But in reality, who am the I who's doing this, and what do I really want? It's a question that we all need to ask ourselves, but I think I certainly do far too little. Sometimes think maybe to a degree that is the human condition. It's very Buddhist. It's like Arthur Schopenhauer, for example. He said that we're all driven by the will. It's a very Buddhist explanation in philosophy, but we're all driven by the will or the need for life. I studied this ages ago. Forgive me if I get things wrong, but we're all driven by this will, this need for life. And he had a quote which says that human life is, I'm going to get it wrong, but it's a pendulum that oscillates between boredom and suffering. And he then gives you the way out of that. He prescribes the disease, but then for him, the cure is, well, you either get into aesthetics and you go into music and art and you try and elevate yourself out of that state through that. You become an aesthetic and you live like a monk. But the fact is, the underlying driving force is always going to be there, according to Schopenhauer. And in Buddhism, the first noble truth is that all life is dukkha, all life is suffering. And the cause of suffering is tanha, craving. We're always out there trying to patch this, this angst, this deep feeling of something, there's got to be something more out there. And maybe that's just the human condition. And it brings us full circle back to that thing about art. Well, art tries damn hard to patch that. And the effort, for me, is enough.